Chosen one, you are not here by accident. This is not a random click. This is not chance. This is divine appointment. Before the foundation of the world, this moment was marked for you. The very fact that you are hearing these words right now means heaven has opened a window of time that is yours alone. You stand at the edge of a supernatural shift that has already been set in motion. The appointed hour has come. Not tomorrow, not someday, today. This very hour, what heaven decreed while you slept last night, is now colliding with your reality. And chosen one, the angels themselves are waiting to see if you will recognize what has already been released. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse the 1st of December layers, to everything there is a season, and a time for every purpose under heaven. Your season has turned. The Kairos moment, God's perfect appointed time, is upon you. This is not symbolic. This is not metaphor. This is the actual spiritual reality unfolding around you right now. Anointed one, something happened last night. Something so powerful that even heaven paused to watch. And the only question that remains is this: will you awaken to what has already been done for you? You haven't realized it yet. Have you? Chosen one, I need you to pause right here, not with your mind, not with your logic, but with your spirit, because while you were asleep last night, something happened that your natural senses couldn't detect, but your spirit felt every moment of it. Let me be honest with you. There have been nights in my own life when I woke up and everything looked the same. Same room, same walls, same routine waiting for me, but deep inside, something felt different. Not wrong, just shifted. Like the atmosphere around me had changed frequencies and I was the last one to notice. That is where you are right now. Last night, while your body rested and your mind shut down from the noise of this world, your spirit was fully awake, and chosen one, your spirit was busy. It was standing in places your flesh has never been. It was present in conversations your ears have never heard. It was being spoken over, prayed for, and contended for in realms that don't operate on earthly time. Let me tell you what went down, and I need you to stay with me, because what I am about to say isn't symbolic language. This isn't poetic imagery or some motivational speech designed to make you feel better for a few minutes. This is the actual spiritual reality unfolding around you right now. The archangels, those mighty warriors of heaven who stand in the direct presence of God, are in a state of holy amazement. Not because something went wrong, not because darkness gained ground, but because something so powerful, so unexpected, so unprecedented, just took place in the courts of heaven that even they weren't prepared for the magnitude of it. And chosen one, you were at the center of it all. I remember a season in my life when I couldn't see past the walls closing in around me. I prayed prayers that felt like they hit the ceiling and fell back down. I believed for breakthroughs that seemed to delay year after year. And during that time, I didn't know that heaven was building a case for me. I didn't realize that every tear, every whispered prayer in the middle of the night, every moment I chose to believe, when doubts screamed louder, it was all being recorded. That is what happened for you last night. There was a gathering in heaven, not a casual meeting, a divine council. The books were opened and chosen one. Your name was mentioned. Angels gave reports about your faithfulness, about how you have kept going when everything told you to quit, about how you have remained obedient even when obedience didn't make sense. They documented every silent tear you cried when no one was watching, every prayer you whispered in hope when hope felt foolish, every single moment you decided to trust God, even when your circumstances screamed that you shouldn't. And as these reports were being shared, something happened that left even the archangels in shock. God spoke. And when God speaks, chosen one, creation doesn't just listen, it responds, it moves, it shifts, it aligns. And here is what he said: the season of testing is over. Let that settle into your spirit for a moment. Not coming to an end, not winding down, over, done, finished. The decree went out last night, and what God declares in heaven doesn't wait for permission to manifest on earth. It is already in motion. This isn't some distant prophecy we are waiting to see unfold someday in the future. This is a moment that is already moving toward you right now. This very hour, You are not wandering aimlessly through your days. You are walking in the aftershock of something extraordinary that just broke loose in the spirit realm. And even now that power is with you. Think about it. That dream you had last night, the one you almost forgot about. But something about it stayed with you. That tightness in your chest when you woke up this morning, like something was pressing on your spirit. Those unusually clear thoughts that came to you out of nowhere. Thoughts you don't normally think, chosen one. It is all connected. These aren't random experiences. This is your spirit responding to what heaven just released over your life. I will never forget the morning I woke up and felt this unexplainable weight on my chest. Not anxiety, not fear. It was like the atmosphere in my room had become thick with the presence of something sacred. I didn't understand it then, but I realize now my spirit knew something had shifted before my mind could catch up. Heaven had moved and my inner man was reacting to a battle that had just been won for me while I slept. And that is exactly what is happening to you. Last night something holy made its way into your life. The atmosphere around your destiny just shifted. Your story is being rewritten, and chosen one. You didn't do this. He did. Heaven initiated this move. All you have to do now is recognize it and receive it. Isaiah chapter 43 verse 19 says God is doing a new thing, and even now it springs forth. The change is happening. The shift is underway, but here is the key. It is up to you to embrace it. As you step into this moment, chosen one, I want you to do something with me. Drop a comment below. Just type Amen if you are ready. Not because I need to see it, but because there is power in your agreement. There is authority in your acknowledgement when you align your voice with what heaven has already spoken. You activate the release of what has been prepared for you. And after we walk through this word together, we are going to seal it with a prayer. A prayer that will align your heart with what heaven has already set in motion. Because, chosen one, this isn't just information. This is an invitation into divine acceleration. Now I need you to tune in with your spirit. Not your mind, not your emotions. Those have their place, but right now I need you to connect with that part of you that remembers heaven. That part of you that existed before this world knew your name. That part of you that has been waiting for this exact moment. Last night was more than a shift. It was a verdict. While your body rested in the stillness of the night, everything that was purposed for you before you ever took your first breath was pulled from the heavenly archives. Not reviewed, not suggested, activated, released, set into motion. Psalm 33 verse 11 tells us that the plans of the Lord stand firm forever. The purposes of his heart through all generations. What was decided about you wasn't just a hope. It wasn't a maybe. It was a divine purpose, and that purpose, chosen one, cannot be erased. Cannot be delayed any longer. Cannot be overridden by human opinion or demonic interference. The courts of the Almighty convened last night, not because there was a crisis, but because the appointed time had finally come. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 1 says there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. Last night was turning point of your season, and I need you to understand something crucial. This has nothing to do with what you did or didn't do. This isn't about you finally getting it right or earning your way into God's favor. This is about heaven keeping its word. Heaven always remembers the promises spoken over your life, even when you forget them, even when circumstances make them seem impossible. Even when years pass and nothing visible changes, heaven doesn't forget. And that is why the archangels paused last night. That is why heaven itself held its breath, because the verdict concerning your life wasn't just a simple yes or no. It was a complete reversal, a total turnaround, a divine overturn of everything that has been working against you. I know what it is like to wait. I know what it feels like when years turn into decades and the promise you once held so tightly starts to feel like a distant memory. I have had seasons where I looked at my life and wondered if God even remembered my name. Prayers that felt like they disappeared into a void. Hopes that seemed to fade with each passing disappointment. But here is what I learned. Nothing is ever forgotten in heaven. Every single moment of your faithfulness was documented. Every tear you cried in silence captured. Every prayer you whispered in hope, when hope seemed foolish, recorded. Every kind gesture you did behind the scenes when no one was watching written down. Revelation chapter 8 verse 4 says the smoke of the incense together with the prayers of God's people went up before God from the angel's hand. Your prayers went up, chosen one, every single one. And now they are coming back down like thunder. What was hidden is being revealed. What was silent is being given a voice. What was stolen is being restored. When your scroll was unsealed before the throne last night, light burst forth, not just showing God's plans for you, but also exposing the enemy's strategies that have been surrounding your path like invisible barriers for years. Those years you couldn't put into words, those opportunities that slipped through your fingers, those relationships that left scars you never talk about, those moments when you felt so close to your breakthrough, only to watch it dissolve right in front of you. Chosen one, heaven saw it all. And last night heaven responded. This isn't theory, this isn't wishful thinking. Some of you woke up this morning and sensed something in your room, a presence, a sacred calm. You couldn't explain it, but it was there. You didn't know that your name had just been mentioned in places you cannot see with natural eyes. Some of you broke down crying today and couldn't figure out why. Out of nowhere, tears just came. You thought maybe you were tired, maybe stressed, maybe overwhelmed, but that wasn't it. Your soul was responding to a battle that was just won for you while you slept. You might be one of them. And if you are, I need you to know this message didn't reach you by accident. It was timed. Perfectly timed, divinely orchestrated. You weren't supposed to hear this yesterday. You weren't supposed to hear this last week. You were meant to hear this right now at this exact moment, because heaven is moving on your behalf and you need to be aware of it. For too long, certain people thought they could tamper with what belongs to you. They whispered lies about your worth. They set boundaries to contain you. They spread narratives to limit you. But Isaiah chapter 54 verse 17 says, "No weapon formed against you shall prosper, and every tongue that rises against you in judgment you shall condemn." Last night, every accusation spoken against you was silenced. Every false alliance was exposed. Every hidden agenda was brought into the light. There is someone close to you, someone who has been in your inner circle. In public, they had the sweetest words for you, encouraging, supportive, always there with a smile, but behind closed doors. Chosen one, their words were different, cutting, critical, undermining everything you were trying to build. And suddenly last night their true nature was exposed. Not to hurt you, not to vindicate your suspicions, but for the sake of justice. Divine justice. Let me tell you something from my own journey. There was a person in my life who I trusted completely. Someone I confided in, shared my dreams with, invited into the most vulnerable parts of my story. And for years I couldn't understand why certain doors kept closing right when they should have opened. Why opportunities I was qualified for somehow went to someone else. Why favor that was promised seemed to evaporate at the last moment. It wasn't until heaven pulled back the curtain that I realized this person had been speaking against me in rooms I wasn't in, planting doubts about my character in ears that mattered, smiling to my face while sabotaging my path behind my back. And when the truth finally came to light, I didn't have to defend myself. I didn't have to expose them. Heaven did it. And when heaven exposes, chosen one, there is no denying it. There is no spinning it. The light of truth is so bright that shadows have nowhere to hide. That is what happened for you last night. When the truth was revealed in the courts of heaven, the response from the angelic hosts was the same as when Christ walked out of the tomb. Light exploded. Sound shook everything. Joy echoed through the realms of glory. And in that moment, God spoke a decree over your life. Joel chapter 2 verse 25. "I will restore to you the years that the swarming locust has eaten." This isn't a promise for someday. This is a present tense restoration. It is happening right now. The years you thought were wasted being reclaimed. The time you thought was stolen being given back with interest. The opportunities you thought you missed being reissued with your name on them. Some people will question this. Some will doubt. Some will say it is too good to be true. But deep in your spirit, chosen one, you know. You don't need to be convinced. Your soul recognizes this word because your soul has been waiting for it. Haven't you felt heaven move for you before? Maybe not at this level, maybe not this noticeably, but you have experienced divine intervention in your life. You have seen God show up when there was no other explanation. You have witnessed miracles that logic couldn't account for. This is just the most undeniable one yet. The gate is open, not a physical gate, a spiritual gate, a doorway between what was and what is about to be, and it doesn't burn with destructive fire. It burns with holy fire, the kind that purifies, the kind that transforms, the kind that removes everything that doesn't belong so that what does belong can finally take its rightful place. And the angels aren't just watching, they are waiting for you to align yourself with what has already been decreed, waiting for you to step into agreement with what heaven has already released. Now let me be clear about something. The Lord doesn't need your permission to bless you. He is God. He does what He wants when He wants how He wants. But here is what I have learned. He invites us into partnership with Him. He invites us to sync our faith with His will. He invites us to recognize what He is doing, so we can participate in it rather than resist it out of unbelief or confusion. A miracle is at your door right now, but only those who recognize it will walk through it. Think about Joseph. You know his story. Betrayed by his own brothers, sold into slavery, falsely accused and thrown into prison for something he didn't do. Years of his life spent in places he didn't deserve to be, suffering consequences for sins he never committed. But God was with him every moment, every injustice, every lonely night in that prison cell. God was there, not to rescue him early, but to prepare him for the position he was always meant to occupy, and when the time was right. Not when Joseph figured it out, not when Joseph earned it, not when Joseph manipulated his way into it, but when heaven's clock struck the appointed hour. Everything shifted, without struggle, without striving, without schemes. Joseph walked out of prison and into a palace, from the pit to power, from rejection to royalty. His story wasn't about vindication. It was about timing, divine timing. And chosen one, just like Joseph. The trials you have faced haven't disqualified you. They have prepared you. The betrayals you have endured haven't destroyed you. They have positioned you. The injustices you have suffered haven't buried your destiny. They have been the soil it has been growing in, hidden from view, until the appointed time of manifestation. This isn't a new path you are stepping onto. This is the ancient path, the one that was carved out by the hand of the Almighty before you took your first breath, before your parents knew your name, before this world ever heard of you. So here we stand, chosen one with heaven as our witness and eternity watching, and the Lord declares the time is now. What was held back is being released. What was stolen is being returned. What was hidden is being brought into the open. What happened last night was more than just a shift. It wasn't a dream you can interpret multiple ways. It wasn't some vague spiritual experience you have to decode. This was a heavenly disruption, an irreversible decree. Something was announced in the highest realm, and even now you can feel it resonating through every layer of creation. Hidden realms were shaken. Thrones were aligned. The eternal order shifted to make room for one blazing command. And still this morning the cry of heaven lingers. Why hasn't the chosen one noticed yet? Let me tell you something, and I need you to really hear this. It was not just another night. While the world slept and you drifted through the quiet hours, something ancient and powerful began to awaken. An urgent, fierce call echoed through dimensions that have never known rest. Not a trumpet, but the voice of the Ancient of Days himself. When God speaks, chosen one, everything that exists responds. Mountains move, seas part, unchains break, destinies shift. And last night that voice summoned the divine council. The chambers were filled with light so intense, so pure that no human eye could withstand it. Thrones blazing with everlasting fire stood in solemn formation. And there in the center of that courtroom was your scroll, the story of your life laid out, fully visible, nothing hidden. What happened next wasn't a ceremony, it was warfare, a battle for justice. An angel stepped forward, holding the record of everything you have endured. Every wound, every lie someone fed you about who you are. Every betrayal you faced in silence. Every broken promise you never told anyone about. Every delay that wasn't your fault but was thrown in your path anyway. Psalm 56 verse 8 says, "You keep track of all my sorrows. You have collected all my tears in your bottle. You have recorded each one in your book." Everything was accounted for. Every loss documented. Every act of sabotage noted. God saw it all, and no hidden attack went unnoticed. I remember a season when I felt completely overlooked. I was doing everything right, or so I thought, showing up, being faithful, serving, believing, and yet nothing was moving. Doors weren't opening, opportunities weren't coming, and what hurt most was watching people who hadn't been half as faithful walk into the blessings I was praying for. I didn't understand it then. I thought maybe I was doing something wrong. Maybe I wasn't praying enough. Maybe I wasn't believing hard enough. Maybe God had forgotten about me. But I have learned something powerful since then. Heaven's delays are not heaven's denials. And just because you cannot see movement doesn't mean nothing is happening. There are battles being fought for you in realms you cannot see. There are strategies being dismantled on your behalf in dimensions you will never visit. There are verdicts being rendered in courts you will never stand in physically, but your name is being spoken there. And last night, chosen one, your case reached its conclusion. Then Michael appeared, the commander of heaven's armies, not gently, not with comforting words, but with the fierce strength of divine protection. His sword blazing like the stars was drawn, not to harm, but to separate truth from lies. Light from darkness. What belongs to you from what has been illegally attached to your destiny. With a voice that silenced every corner of creation, he declared, "This far and no further." Those words weren't a warning, they were a final verdict. And when those words were spoken, it was like thunder rolling through every realm of existence. Structures that had been holding you back collapsed at their foundation. Those invisible prisons built from the words people spoke over you. The fears you absorbed from environments you had no choice but to be in. The patterns you never chose but inherited. All of it crumbled in the face of something far more powerful. You weren't aware of your chains, chosen one, but heaven was. You might not have realized how long the delay had been, but God did. And with one word, the delay was canceled. But what happened next stunned even the archangels. A figure stepped forward from the assembly. Someone connected to your life. Someone you recognize. Someone you considered a trusted companion. You let them into your inner circle. You confided in them. You believed they had your best interests at heart. But when things were quiet, when no one else was around, their energy was different. Even if you didn't catch their subtle movements, heaven recorded everything. Hidden agendas, silent alliances, covert efforts designed to hinder your progress from the very beginning. They thought no one was watching, but heaven sees everything. When God's light filled that courtroom, there wasn't a shadow left anywhere. Their mask shattered, the web they had been weaving unraveled. Their schemes were uncovered and judged not with anger but with holiness. And in that moment of judgment, something completely unexpected happened. Your scroll began to glow, not with fire but with glory. Then Gabriel appeared, the messenger of the Most High, shining like rivers of light. He stepped forward and unrolled the scroll bearing your name. Everything others had written in defilement was erased. Every mark of sabotage removed, every trace of betrayal overturned, every lie spoken against you scattered like ash in the wind. Heaven restored what was lost, and the person who thought they had authority over your blessing was exposed and removed from their position of influence in your life. Psalm 35 verse the 10th of December layers. All my bones shall say, Lord, who is like you, delivering the poor from him who is too strong for him. Yes, the poor and the needy from him who plunders him. And that is exactly what happened. You were defended in the courts of eternity while you slept. Now chosen one, I need you to stay right here with me. Don't move. Don't let your mind wander. Don't allow distraction to rob you of the truth that is unfolding before you in this very moment. Michael raised his sword. It flashed like lightning across every realm. And in that instant, every chain wrapped around your destiny was severed. Not loosened, not weakened, cut completely. Gabriel's trumpet didn't play softly. It blasted across the heavens, carrying the sound of your freedom from one world to another. From the realm of the spirit into the realm of the natural, from what was decreed in glory to what will manifest in your reality. And the Most High spoke one final command. Tell them before the night is over or the door will close. That is why this message found you. That is why you couldn't scroll past it. That is why something in your spirit made you stop and pay attention. Heaven isn't waiting for God to act. God has already acted. What heaven is waiting for now is your response. This isn't about what God could do. It is about whether you are ready to step into what He has already accomplished. The veil is lifting. What has been kept in the spiritual realm is moments away from breaking through into your physical reality. Last night was a total game changer, but the world didn't report it. Social media didn't cover it. Your phone didn't buzz with a notification. This moment was reserved for the throne room, not the headlines. And chosen one, you are the first to hear about it. The angels are in awe. Not because of the darkness that tried to hold you back, but because of the incredible light that broke through for you. They watched as doors that had been locked for years suddenly swung open. They witnessed blessings that were hidden begin to flow toward you, like rivers that have been dammed up finally breaking free. They saw your life transformed in the flames of divine justice. And they turned to each other and asked, do they know? Yet have they noticed the shift? Do they realize that what was lost has been restored? I will be honest with you. There was a time in my life when I was so focused on what I didn't have that I almost missed what God was giving me. I was so busy complaining about closed doors that I didn't see the new ones opening. I was so consumed with what had been taken that I couldn't recognize what was being returned. And one day in the middle of my frustration, I heard this quiet voice in my spirit say, stop looking at what is behind you and start seeing what is in front of you. That moment changed everything for me because I realized that while I was rehearsing my losses, heaven was orchestrating my restoration. While I was counting what I had been through, God was preparing what I was about to step into. Job chapter 42 verse 10 says, and the Lord restored Job's losses when he prayed for his friends. Indeed, the Lord gave Job twice as much as he had before. What you thought was your ending is actually your turning point. What you thought was your loss was the setup for your comeback. What you thought buried you was actually planting you for a season of unprecedented growth. But heaven is waiting for you to wake up. Last night was a sacred reset. Every plan designed to stop you was exposed. Every person who smiled in your face while scheming behind your back was revealed. Their influence has been terminated. Their voices have been silenced. Your name has risen above the storms that tried to drown it out. Your scroll wasn't just opened, it was rewritten. The fire that transformed your story is still burning and heaven has made its decision. Now it is time for the earth to align with it. You are standing in the middle of a moment that was created before you were born. The angels know who you are. God knows what your calling is. The only question left is this. Are you going to recognize it? Are you going to believe it? Are you going to stay long enough to receive the full revelation that has been chasing you down? Because even though everything looks the same on the outside, in the spiritual realm, everything has shifted for you. What you thought was being withheld has already been released. What you thought you lost is already on its way back to you. What you were afraid would never happen is already in motion. Isaiah 22 verse 22 says, the key of the house of David I will lay on his shoulder. So he shall open, and no one shall shut, and he shall shut, and no one shall open. Last night the keys were handed to the angels assigned to your life, and the doors that have been shut against you are now opening. And chosen one, hear me clearly, no one, not jealousy, not betrayal, not demonic interference, not human opposition, can close what God has opened. The archangels are still there, their wings still trembling. They have witnessed so much glory that they cannot stay silent. They are watching, hoping, praying, whispering. Don't let them miss it now. They are so close. That is why you feel something stirring inside you right now that you cannot quite put into words. Your heart is racing. Something within you will not let you keep scrolling. will not let you walk away, will not let you dismiss this as just another message. Your soul knows things your eyes haven't seen yet. Your spirit recognizes truth that your mind is still trying to process. You have been through hell, chosen one. Things that should have destroyed you. Situations that would have broken most people. Betrayals that cut so deep you thought you would never recover. Losses that felt permanent. Disappointments that seemed endless. But it was all worth it. Every tear heaven noticed. Every cry heaven collected, every injustice heaven documented. And now your story is being rewritten with justice, with mercy, and with holy fire. Last night a decree echoed through the ages. It is finished, it is done, and now you are standing on sacred ground. From this moment forward, every word spoken carries the weight of that decision. You are not waiting for God to start something. You need to see what He has already completed. I remember standing in my kitchen one morning, feeling the weight of years pressing down on me. I had been believing for breakthrough for so long that I would almost forgotten what hope felt like, almost convinced myself that maybe this was just my lot in life. Maybe I was expecting too much. Maybe I needed to lower my expectations and accept that some things just weren't meant for me. And in that moment of near surrender, I felt something shift in the atmosphere. I cannot explain it any other way. It was like the air itself changed frequency. And I heard these words drop into my spirit. I never stopped working. You just stopped looking. That shook me. Because I realized I had been so focused on what wasn't happening that I would become blind to what was happening. I had been so discouraged by delays that I had stopped recognizing divine preparation. And within 48 hours, something I had been praying about for 7 years suddenly manifested. Not because I finally did something right, not because I finally figured out the formula, but because heaven's timing had arrived, and I was finally in position to receive what had already been prepared. That is where you are right now, chosen one. The next word you hear is going to deliver what your heart has been longing for. The next moment is going to lift the final veil. The truth you thought was gone forever is coming back to you like a rushing wind, and the angels are still calling your name. Stay here, because what is coming next is going to unlock the final chamber of revelation. And when you hear it, your life will never be the same. Heaven has shifted. The verdict is in. Your name was spoken in the courts of the Almighty. Last night, while you were sleeping peacefully, something monumental took place in the realm of glory. A judgment was declared that was so powerful, it shook the foundations of eternity itself. Archangel Michael stood like a wall of fire protecting everything that belongs to you. A sound like thunder rolled through time announcing your liberation. The decree went out. It is finally time, the chosen one is finally free. And God in all His authority said, tell them before this window closes. After tonight, this moment will be gone. That is why you are here. That is why your heart has been restless. That is why you felt compelled to keep watching, even when your mind told you to move on. This isn't coincidence. This is divine orchestration. This is perfect timing. You are looking through a window right now that stretches into eternity. Every moment you spend here is pregnant with meaning. Every breath you take is drawing you closer to revelation. Heaven revealed who was blocking your path, and the mask they wore for years was ripped off in front of the angels. Their schemes exposed, their influence terminated, their season over. What you are receiving right now isn't just inspiration. This is direct communication from the throne. You are not reading a story, you are stepping into one. Every second you remain here brings you closer to the full unveiling of what was decided in glory. And the archangels are still saying, don't let them turn away now. Don't let them miss this truth. This is your moment, chosen one. This is your opportunity. This is your time. Last night, holy light broke through the darkness. Every chain holding your promise hostage was shattered. Every hidden delay was erased. Every stolen blessing began flowing back into your life like an unstoppable flood. The heavens trembled. The angels were awestruck. And here you are still unaware of all the good that has already been accomplished for you. But heaven will not allow you to stay in the dark any longer. Isaiah 45 verse 3 promises, I will give you the treasures of darkness and hidden riches of secret places, that you may know that I, the Lord who call you by your name, am the God of Israel. What was concealed is being revealed. What was buried under the weight of false partnerships and invisible opposition is now coming to light. The treasures that were hidden beneath layers of warfare, beneath years of delay, beneath the mountains of resistance, they are surfacing. Stay in this place of connection. Stay in this moment of sacred awareness, because the final piece of truth is emerging now. What the angels witnessed last night is being whispered into your spirit right now. Can you feel it? That stirring deep inside that has nothing to do with emotion and everything to do with spiritual recognition. Archangel Michael, the great warrior of heaven, stood at attention with a sword burning, like lightning defending what heaven has written over your life. Every lie spoken against you silenced. Every spiritual barrier erected to stop you destroyed. Every hand that reached out to block your inheritance removed. Gabriel's trumpet didn't sound like celebration music. It sounded like warfare, a declaration that echoed through every realm. The chosen one is finally released. This is finally their moment. The waiting is finally over. We need to understand something crucial here. Anointed one, this isn't just about you feeling better. This isn't about receiving a motivational boost to get through your week. This is about a cosmic shift that has legal ramifications in both the spiritual and natural realms. When heaven renders a verdict, it doesn't need earth's permission to enforce it. When God speaks a decree, it doesn't wait for your circumstances to align before it becomes valid. What was decided last night in the courts of glory is already law, already active, already working on your behalf. And God said, before the night ends, tell them this is their last opportunity to witness what I have already accomplished. Let me share something vulnerable with you. There was a period in my life when I received prophetic word after prophetic word about my future. Beautiful promises, detailed visions, specific timelines, and for years, nothing visible happened. Nothing I could point to and say, see, it is manifesting. I went through a season where I stopped listening to prophetic words altogether. Not because I stopped believing in prophecy, but because the gap between what was spoken and what I was experiencing became too painful. I couldn't handle another promise that didn't seem to come to pass. And one night, broken and exhausted, I told God exactly how I felt. No religious language, no pretending, just raw honesty. I cannot do this anymore. Either you move or I need to accept that maybe those words weren't from you. That night, I had a dream. In the dream, I was standing in front of a massive door. It was ornate, ancient, clearly important, and I was pushing on it with everything I had, but it wouldn't budge. I pushed until my arms ached, until sweat poured down my face, until I finally collapsed in exhaustion. And as I sat there on the ground defeated, a voice said, "You have been pushing on a door that only opens from the other side." I woke up with tears streaming down my face because I finally understood. I had been trying to force my way into breakthrough, trying to make promises manifest through my effort, trying to open doors that only heaven had the key to. And the moment I surrendered, truly surrendered, everything shifted within weeks. Doors I had been pushing on for years swung open effortlessly. Favor I couldn't manufacture appeared out of nowhere. Opportunities I couldn't create presented themselves, not because I finally figured out the secret, but because heaven's timing had arrived, and I finally stopped resisting it with my own agenda. That is what is happening for you right now, chosen one. This message is reaching you at the precise moment heaven ordained. Your heart is responding to this word for a reason. You are still here, still listening, still engaged, not by accident, but by divine appointment. This isn't just any word. This is your word. The message you have been waiting for without even knowing you were waiting for it. What they tried to silence is now being amplified. What they attempted to steal has been reissued with your name permanently attached. What they thought they had buried is already resurrecting. Heaven is still speaking. The angels are still nearby, still watching, still waiting. Every moment you remain in this space is sacred. Every word you are hearing right now carries the weight of divine justice. And here is what I need you to understand. This moment will not last forever. There are windows in the Spirit that open for a season, and if you miss them, you will spend years trying to recreate what was freely available in one moment of divine timing. I am not saying this to pressure you. I am saying this to awaken you, to shake off the fog of disappointment that has been clouding your vision, to break through the weariness that has been dulling your spiritual senses. Because, chosen one, you have been through too much to miss this. You have endured too much to walk away now. You have survived too much to let distraction or doubt steal this moment from you. The archangels didn't pause last night because something small happened. Heaven didn't convene the divine council for a minor adjustment. God didn't speak a decree for a temporary shift. This is permanent. This is irreversible. This is the reset you have been praying for without knowing how to articulate it. Your reality is about to reflect what was settled in heaven. Your circumstances are about to bow to what was decreed in glory. Your life is about to demonstrate what the angels witnessed last night, but you have to stay awake. You have to stay aware. You have to stay aligned with what heaven has already spoken over you. I want to take you back to something for just a moment. Remember earlier when I mentioned that your scroll was opened in heaven? That wasn't just symbolic language. In the realm of the Spirit, there are actual records, actual books, actual scrolls that contain the story of your life. Not just what has been, but what was always meant to be. And when your scroll was opened last night, it wasn't opened for review. It was opened for restoration. Everything that had been written against you by the enemy's hand was erased. Every assignment sent to derail you was canceled. Every word curse spoken over your destiny was revoked. Every limitation placed on your potential was removed, and in that space where all the opposition used to be written, heaven inscribed something new. Not a revised version of your story, but the original one, the one that existed before the interference, before the attacks, before the delays, the version of your life that God authored before time began. Chosen one. You are not being given a second chance. You are being given access to your first destiny. The one that was always yours. The one that nothing and no one can take from you now, because it has been sealed by divine decree. I know what some of you are thinking right now. I have heard words like this before. I have believed for breakthrough before, and I have been disappointed before. I understand that. I have been there. I know what it is like to guard your heart because you are afraid to hope again. I know what it feels like to hear a prophetic word and immediately brace yourself for the letdown because you have experienced so many unfulfilled promises. But here is what I need you to hear. Past disappointments don't define present possibilities. What didn't happen before doesn't determine what can happen now. Your history with delay does not dictate your future with destiny. And more importantly, this isn't about you mustering up enough faith to make something happen. This is about you recognizing what has already been done and positioning yourself to receive it. There is a massive difference between those two things. One requires you to generate breakthrough through spiritual warfare, fasting, prayer marathons, and sheer willpower. The other requires you to simply open your hands and receive what heaven has already released. And chosen one. I am telling you what happened last night falls into the second category. This isn't something you have to fight for anymore. The fight is over. The battle has been won. The verdict has been rendered. Your only job now is to step into the reality of what has already been accomplished in your favor. Let me tell you what I believe is going to happen in the coming days and weeks. You are going to start noticing things, small things at first. A shift in someone's attitude toward you, a door opening that was previously closed, a conversation that leads to an unexpected opportunity, a supernatural idea that drops into your spirit, a dream that gives you clarity you didn't have before. These aren't going to be random occurrences. They are going to be the fingerprints of what was decreed last night beginning to manifest in your physical reality. And as these things start showing up, I want you to recognize them for what they are. Not coincidences, not luck, but the evidence of heaven's verdict taking form in the natural realm. Because here is what I have learned. God doesn't just speak things into the air and hope they land somewhere. When God decrees something, He backs it up with angelic activity. He assigns resources. He orchestrates connections. He shifts circumstances. He opens doors. He moves mountains. He makes ways where there are no ways, and all of that is happening for you right now. The angels that were amazed last night, they are not amazed anymore. Now they are activated. They are on assignment. They are working on your behalf. They are clearing paths. They are removing obstacles. They are arranging divine appointments. They are preparing the ground for what is about to break through in your life. Anointed one, this is not the time to shrink back. This is not the moment to doubt. This is not the season to play it safe or lower your expectations or talk yourself out of believing. This is the time to stand tall in who God says you are. This is the moment to lift your head and declare that you receive everything heaven has released. This is the season to walk in the authority that comes from knowing you have been vindicated in courts you have never seen. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. You don't have to defend yourself. You don't have to force doors open. You don't have to circumstances. You don't have to outmaneuver your enemies. All you have to do is walk forward in the confidence that heaven has already ruled in your favor. So here is my challenge to you as we close. Stop waiting for breakthrough and start walking in it. Stop begging for favor and start operating in it. Stop hoping for vindication and start living like you have already been vindicated, because you have. Last night changed everything. The only question is, are you going to live like it did? The archangels are watching. Heaven is waiting, and chosen one, your moment has arrived. Chosen one, this message reached you at the exact moment heaven ordained. Your heart felt that pull because your spirit recognized what your mind is still processing. You stayed because something deep within you knows this isn't just any word. This is your word. This is your moment. What they tried to silence is now thundering from the heavens. What they attempted to steal has been reissued with your name permanently engraved on it. What they thought they buried is already resurrecting, already breaking through the surface of your reality, already manifesting in ways you are about to witness. Heaven is still speaking over you. The angels are still stationed around you, and every moment you have spent here has been saturated with the intensity of divine justice and holy purpose. Let me tell you something from my own journey. There was a time when I would have scrolled past a message like this, when I was so numb from disappointment that I couldn't recognize a divine moment even when it was staring me in the face. But I have learned that the moments we almost miss are often the ones that change everything. And this is one of those moments for you. So I release you now with this declaration. You are not the same person who started watching this video. Something shifted in you while you were here. Something awakened. Something that was dormant is now stirring with holy fire and sacred purpose. The archangels who were shocked last night are now activated on your behalf. What they witnessed in the courts of heaven, they are now assigned to manifest in your life. Every door they saw opened, they are now guarding. Every blessing they saw released, they are now escorting into your reality. Walk forward, anointed one, knowing that what was decided last night is already in motion. The supernatural transfer isn't coming, it is here. Your Kairos moment, your divinely appointed time, isn't approaching. It has arrived. You are standing in it right now. Don't shrink back from what is about to unfold. Don't second guess what your spirit already knows is true. Don't let doubt steal what faith has already secured in the heavenly realms. I want to invite you to do something sacred right now. If this word penetrated your spirit, if something inside you witnessed to this truth, drop a comment below. Type, I receive it, or simply Amen. Let heaven know you are in agreement with what has been decreed over your life. And if you are ready to continue walking in the fullness of your calling, subscribe to this channel, not just for content, but as an act of covenant, a declaration that you are committed to seeing what heaven sees, to becoming who you were created to be. Share this message with another chosen one who needs to hear it. Someone came to your mind while you were watching this. That is not random. That is the Holy Spirit. Send it to them. Heaven has spoken. The verdict is rendered. The angels are watching. And chosen one, everything is about to change. Go in power. Go in authority. Go in the absolute certainty that what was decided in glory is now manifesting in your reality. Your breakthrough isn't coming. It is here. Amen and amen.